My friend, before we even start, always love and respect. I miss you. And for folks who are watching this on Rudy Blair Entertainment Media, rudyblairmedia.com, we were just speaking about how we only get to do this once a year and we never get a chance to actually see each other because whenever we've done interviews in the past, we always have these amazing conversations about life, things that are going on. But this is the next to best thing. My beautiful friend, how are you? How have you been?
I've been great. Look, I've been lucky to, this is my 20th anniversary in Toronto. I can't believe it's been that long, but I'm just having the best life.
Yeah, yeah.
Who are you?
Were you on tour with Dan Hill, another amazing artist?
Absolutely. Dan called me up and said, would you think it would be cool if you and I did some shows together acoustically? We each do a song and just talk about our career and our lives. And I said, I'm in. He said, do you want to know the rest? I said, no, I don't care as long as the two of us are there. And I've known Dan since 1977, I think.
Wow.
It goes a long, long way. And I love his spirit. I've always loved the human being that he is. And so you say right away, yes, I'm in for whatever with Dan.
Absolutely. And a lot of artists did the same thing too with what you do every year around this time. And like you said, it's the 20th anniversary. What is returning to make this holiday season even brighter?
Well, every year since year one, I've reached out to the community here in Toronto, and everyone's donated their time. No one's asked for money. So it's just been 20 years of giving. And I never thought it was going to last this long. I always thought that it was going to be a moment in time, maybe do 1 year, maybe do 2 years. But every year comes around and people are asking me to do this. And now we've got the Bare Naked Ladies, Alex Lifeson, um, Broken Social Scene, Billy Talent, Dan Hill, William Prince, Rock Voisine, M. Griner, Men Without Hats. I don't know if I'm missing anyone.
I think Molly Johnson is on that.
She's not just someone,
I know.
someone who created a moment in time called Kumbaya.
Hmm.
And I took a deep breath because if it weren't for Molly, um, she just introduced me to the Bare Naked Ladies. And the Bare Naked Ladies introduced me to Ed, and we wrote a song together, became a hit, and it's just beautiful. And I'm so happy that Molly's going to be there and talk about her experience, her kumbaya, and it was an important time in Canada and the world when AIDS was ravishing a lot of us, and
Mhm.
there was no solution. But I'll leave that up to Molly to talk to you about, and because it's her time.
One of the things that's so important about this event is the charity. And the charity has had sort of and correct me if I'm wrong, sort of a bit of a rough time with cutbacks going on with the government. So right now, this is in such need of finances and exposure for what they do. What's the charity that you always give back to?
Well, for the past, I think, 10 years, and now it's going to be the 11th year, it's been CAMH. You know, in talking to Molly recently, we were talking about the fact that so many people we knew had AIDS, and it didn't matter where you lived. It didn't matter if you were um, in Toronto, in the US, all over the world. And one of the things that Molly reminded me of was that a lot of the AIDS patients needed help to get through a moment in time in their lives where there was no help. There was, we still don't have a cure, but maybe we can save people's lives right now. But the cure itself was just it was almost evaporated that we didn't know what to do. And a lot of the patients needed help and they went to CAMH. And I had not known that information before. And so CAMH has always been something that I felt was important because they will take you no matter what. You can you can arrive at 3 o'clock in the morning with a bed sheet around you. You can knock on the door. They'll always open. And I love the fact that we're able to continue to be an environment where there's a room. It started out as a room, but it's a bigger room now where you can get a brand new pair of jeans, brand new sneakers, new shirt. Um, I don't know how you feel, but every time I buy something and I think I'm feeling better. Oh my God, I look great in this. And I think that CAMH Gifts of Light, which is really the package that I've been helping, understands the ability to have um, a deep need for for mental health. And what does that
Yeah.
mean? Feeling good about yourself. That's how it starts, and I think once you stop feeling good about yourself is when you start having problems somewhere. And when you feel good about yourself for whatever reason, it gives you a moment of self-esteem, and maybe you can help your neighbor at that point.
Are we going home with this show because you've always had it at Massey Hall?
Yeah, we are. It's really kind of interesting how it all happened. Um, Montreal was always an emotional time for me
Mhm.
because it was home, and I wasn't around for a lot of the Christmases. And so going there was really, I still see my brothers, my mom and dad, God rest their souls, are gone. But um, so I just, deep down inside felt um, I needed I needed to go home a long time ago, Rudy. And it's been in snippets. And Andrew Mosker from the Calgary um, arena of artists where we all go to. It's the music center for us. They called me up and wanted to be a part of it this year, and I'm so happy that we're able to continue that journey again.
And it's an amazing journey too. Where's the show happening here with Toronto?
Toronto's at Massey Hall.
Hmm.
Montreal is at it's part of the Eaton Center. It's on the
Oh,
top floor of the Eaton Center, and that environment had been closed for 25 years. And if you look at it now, um, you think you're in the 20s. It is such a gorgeous place. And what's being done, starting, I think, starting on the 5th of December into the 6th, we're performing on the 7th. They're building a special stage for us because it's really not meant to be that big for that big a band. So I'm honored to be there. And then we go to Calgary for the 13th. And some people are asking me about Vancouver. Maybe you can show up to Vancouver with us next year. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Toronto, Massey Hall. How special is it for you to perform at Massey Hall with these great artists, especially because, as everybody knows, Massey Hall is the home of the late Gordon Lightfoot? How special is it for you to have this particular show in Gordon Lightfoot's house?
It's been 3 years. This is my third year. So as soon as construction was finished, um, the first artist was Gordon, and Buffy was the second, and the Andy Kim Christmas was the third. Um, I have to tell you, I've always been in awe of Gordon Lightfoot. When I had my first tour as a teenager, um, I saw at O'Hare Airport in Chicago. I I looked across the way and there was Gordon Lightfoot.
Wow.
And I got up. You know, you have courage when you're younger. You have
Yeah.
no, you know. And so I went to him and I put my hand out. I said, "Hi, my name's Andy Kim, and I think you're Gordon Lightfoot." And he smiled and he held on to my hand, and I started babbling. You know, I love your music. I have your records at home. You're the greatest, and on and on and on. And he just kept smiling at me. And then I said, "Okay, well, thank you so much for your time." He hadn't said a word to me, and and I said, "Oh, before I go, do you have any advice for me?" We're talking 1968.
Yeah.
And he looked at me square in the eyes and he said, "Make sure you get paid in Canadian money." That was his advice to me. And it took me about another 10, 12, 15 years to really get to know him.
Mhm.
And then um, we would bump into each other sporadically. And then he started coming to the Christmas shows. And I've always asked if he would come and do a song. And I think Massey was the only place he wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And but I remember he would come in and he would sit in the middle row. There was a special row that I put aside for him. And the most wonderful thing about him was that at intermission, he would come backstage and he'd give me a hug. And then everybody that was on the show, I don't care if it was Broken Social Scene or Billy Talent or any of the artists that were there, everybody now freezes and they brought their phones and their guitars so that Gordon can sign and they would take pictures. That was our halftime. That was our intermission time. And so we all miss him.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you never know when the right time is to go. I never felt it was the right time for him, but you're in God's hands at that moment. And so he's been released to where he came from. But we talk about him a lot and we miss him a lot.
I miss him a lot too, my friend. Um, so we have all of this, but we haven't talked about how we can get tickets for this show.
Well, first of all, my first show was $25 at the Mod Club. That's 20 years ago.
I remember that.
And the reason why it was $25 was I was more interested in the people that took the subway, streetcar, and the buses. I
Mhm.
wasn't interested in people who wanted and had money to come to the show. I wanted to have all these great artists. So today the tickets are $39 and $89.
That's not bad.
And someone told me from Ticketmaster that we're almost sold out, which is good news and funky news, you know. So if you want to go and just reach out to Ticketmaster, I'm sure we've got some tickets somewhere.
The other question I always ask, and I think you already know I'm going to ask because we always want to know, are you going to perform? Because you know we want to hear those hits, not from somebody else, not from some remaster, remake, or somebody else doing something else, which I've heard many of these songs of yours being redone for the clubs. I'm talking, are you gonna step to the mic and sing the hits for us? And you know the hits we want to hear.
Well, you know what? You know what's happened through the years is that everybody says yes, and there's no room for me. So I either do Sugar Sugar or Rock Me Gently. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do more songs this year as well. And I just I love to think about that journey from Montreal to New York City, um, from Los Angeles to Toronto, to have a friend like you in my life. I see you often. You're surrounded by people that there's a lineup for people to talk to you. I kind of wave and you wave back because we know each other and we care about each other. That's the cool thing about it.
The thing is, I always want to try to bring you over. I think the last one was Canada's Walk of Fame this year, and I think it was the one with the celebrating the 80s, I do believe. I could be wrong because there were so many awards, but I saw you. We waved, but I was actually waving for you to come over so I can
There,
talk to you.
there was
But
a lineup. Rudy, there
oh,
was a lineup to talk to
you
you.
come first. You always come. Look, there are always two people I always said that came first. It was you and Gordon. So you come first, my friend. You just come on over and you know we will talk away. Look, before we go, um, any new music in 2025 and other tours happening for you?
Yes, I started doing tours in the U.S. festivals last year, and so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be doing more of those this coming year. Um, Kevin Drew and I have talked about writing a song together, and I think we have one. And maybe because it's going to be 10 years that it's decided came out, so we'll have some kind of celebration regarding that. Um, I'm always writing. I I don't know if anyone's interested on on a level. You have to understand, I respect what's going on today. I'm not what it today is, but I'm celebrating all the artists and writers that are doing it today. And I'm hoping they have the same kind of journey that God gave me the ability to have, is to look back and understand that I'm living my one and only life. And I'm enjoying it. And I bless all of those that are really trying to be heard and be seen because the industry has changed, you know.
It definitely has, but you haven't. And that's the reason why we love you so much. And that's why no matter how bad the world can get to, all we got to do is listen to your music. And we know there still is a good place in this world. My friend, thank you so much for your friendship. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for the music, your kindness. And thank you for doing this show for 20 years. It is so needed. Blessings as always, my friend. Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to the live one next year so that you and I can do an interview and then spend an hour talking about life and stuff. I miss it so much. God bless you.